I, 23 male, was repeatedly stuck playing the helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my 3 nephews. Last year, we took a family vacation in the summer to the coast. I rode with my parents, who paid for my hotel room, only I had to share that room with 3 rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room for themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead, I ended up having to help with these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded that I was there for free. And then we did only one thing I wanted to do, which was a tour of an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as last year, but I refused. I said I'd drive myself and pay for my hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry. I've got a good job and a decent running car. I can more than afford it. That's when the but started. I stated the previously listed reasons why I'll drive myself and pay for myself. I want to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year. My parents told my sister, who called to blow up at me, that I'll be ruining the vacation if I was off doing my own thing while she had to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year, all she did was rope me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister's not speaking to me, and my parents are still trying to convince me to ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing, but the pressure's getting to me. Am I the idiot for not giving in? They'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help. Sister called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if she has to wrangle her 3 boys. That's a laugh. She's admitting that she's ruining your vacation so as not to ruin her own. They're her kids and her responsibility, not the idiot. In fact, you're nicer than I would be. I'd just say, no thanks, I've got other plans, and avoid the family vacation altogether. Yes, how dare you ruin my vacation when I should be ruining yours? You know, there's a good solution for this. The parents could pay for the nanny with the money that they saved from not paying for OP. Oh wait, that's not a lot of money? Guess you really didn't value your brother or son's contributions. LMFAO. Yeah, that's what I'm not getting. Last year, they told him he was there for free, but what did it cost them to bring him along? He rode in a car already going to the same destination, so they had no travel expenses to cover. There was a 3rd hotel room, but they would have needed either a 3rd room for the kids or a suite for the sister's family. Lodging expenses were also minimal to non-existent. Doesn't sound like anybody covered his food or activities. He was on that vacation for free because it cost them nothing to bring him along. Correct. The cost of the free childcare OP is providing likely far exceeds the few $100s they spent on OP. Honestly, what are you even getting out of these family vacations? Just go do your own thing and avoid the hassle and stress and pressure to babysit. Do not give in. It's time to stand your ground. This internet stranger is proud of you. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 2 years now. He has 2 toddlers with his ex-girlfriend and has full custody. She gets them every other weekend. I met his kids a year ago and have been building a relationship with them. We're both 23 and young, but we're both mature and stable. He owns his own house and business. We openly discuss marriage and plan to elope on his birthday this summer. We've been wearing wedding bands. Since we're going straight to marriage, I never called him my fiancé nor announced it online. Only close friends and family know we're getting married. We've also talked about me adopting his kids one day. I have a cousin I grew up with, and we were really close when we were younger, but grew apart during high school. She was adopted by my aunt and uncle. At a family gathering a few days ago, we ran into each other after not seeing each other for almost 2 years. Since we're the closest cousins in age there, we were talking the whole time. It was awkward. She asked about my boyfriend, and I talked about our upcoming elopement. She screws her face up and says she didn't know he had kids. I tell her he has two, and she has a look of shock and disgust on her face. She tells me I'm too young to be playing stepmom and that I'm wasting my life if I marry him. I was shocked at her rudeness and told her that I love my stepkids and I'd rather be with my boyfriend than anyone else. She says that she could never sit and pretend to love a child for a man and that she could never love a child that wasn't really hers. I bit my tongue at that since she's literally adopted, and from what my mom has told me, she was only adopted because my aunt is infertile. She had to talk her husband into it since he was unsure. I replied and said I'm not pretending anything, and that, of course, it took time to build a bond with them, and I understood if she wouldn't do it. She just looks me up and down and says I'm too pretty to resort to being a glorified babysitter, and that she's going to find it funny in 10 years to watch my stepchildren disrespect me at family events and yell that I'm not their real mom, and that they're technically not lying. I told her that they'll be my children once I legally adopted them, and she had the nerve to scoff. I was shocked at her audacity and asked her if she had forgotten she's adopted herself. She got irate, saying a couple adopting a baby together is not the same as a desperate person playing stepmom and adopting kids who already have a mom. I'll never be their real mom. I said, then I guess you're not my aunt's real child then. She started crying and left sobbing. When I tried explaining what happened, everyone said I was wrong and that I shouldn't have brought her adoption up for question, that I was a major idiot, and that adopting a baby as a couple is not the same as adopting your partner's kids. They're saying I have to apologize. Am I the idiot? Edit. She lost her rights when she got locked up, and my boyfriend has full custody. She was considering fighting for her rights back, but she's moving to a different state soon, so she isn't anymore. Their agreement is between them, not the court. Everyone's the idiot here. Your cousin? Wow. She minimized the bond you have with them and the role you play. But you also wow, assuming the children's mom would give up her parental rights so you could adopt them. What a horrible thing to be planning. You have a lot of growing up to do. Oh my God, lady, their mom is still in their lives, so drag your head out of your butt with this adoption talk. I'm sure she lost custody, but not her parental rights. You don't lose those just because you go to jail. And if they've never been to court about the kids, then she hasn't lost anything legally. You all really should go speak with an attorney and get their arrangement formalized. But they're both mature and stable at 23. Their agreement is between them, not the court. We'll see what OP thinks about herself in 10 years. I honestly thought I knew it all in my early 20s. Oh boy, was I an idiot. OP, you are the idiot. You will never be your stepchildren's mother because they already have a mother. You'll be a mother-like figure to them, but as long as their mom is alive and present, you'll be the stepmom, which is still an important role to play. The fact that you think you can adopt these kids is evidence that your cousin is right, that you're a bit naive about the reality of your situation. You can only adopt the kids if their mom dies or terminates her parental rights. My significant other, SO, and I are dating and have lived together for less than a year. Our current rent is about $2,000 a month, and various utilities run about $700 a month. I make about 4 times my SO, so I pay all the rent while they pay the utilities. We also shopped for our furniture together and paid equal amounts. We didn't go all out and stayed within a reasonable budget. For example, our couch cost $500, and my SO easily paid $250, and I paid $250. We're happy with the situation, and there have been no complaints. I've been offered a new job in a new state, and we agreed to move for my job since it'll be a great stepping stone for my career, and I'll be making much more, about 6 times more than my SO. Also, my SO works at a job easily available in the new state. Furthermore, my SO is excited to move because the new state has more opportunities and things for us to do for fun. The problem is that my SO's been looking at places that cost between 8 to 10K a month, while I'm only comfortable with paying up to 4K a month. My SO argues that I have to look the part of my new position, and the more expensive places are in better parts of the city with less crime. While that is a valid argument, I contend that we don't have to live in the city, and I'm willing to commute. In addition, my SO's been looking at furniture and appliances that are far beyond what we currently have. We're not bringing anything but clothes and some items. For example, I'm perfectly happy with the $500 couch, but they're looking at ones that cost $3K. We went back and forth until I had enough and said that I was only paying $4K a month, and we were buying reasonable furniture and other household stuff. They'll have to pay the difference if they want to live in a luxury building or have designer stuff. My SO was hurt by this and accused me of being financially abusive and rubbing my better earnings in their face. They've gone to their friends and family, and literally everyone is against me. I thought I was right, but now that I'm the only one who thinks I'm right, I'm not so sure. This is literally the exact opposite of financial abuse. It's called fiscal responsibility. Tell me you're a gold digger without telling me you're a gold digger. Look the part? What the heck? Not the idiot, OP. You might need someone more aligned with your lifestyle. I bet your family was told the story in different words. SO probably told them, OP wants me to pay $6,000 a month when they only pay $4,000 a month. From the outside, that sounds like you are the idiot, but the context is missing. The context is that you can get a reasonable place for $4,000 a month, and SO wants the luxury. Holy moly, 8 to 10K a month? Are you shopping for penthouse suites? Mansions? SO needs to pump the brakes on lifestyle creep. And I merely live in a top 10 city, so the bigger, brighter spots might be different. Still, even 4K a month is you should be buying, not renting territory in most places in the US. Something to consider, OP. I think you should move to the new state alone. Please reconsider this relationship. Your partner's primary interest seems to be your paycheck. When you don't spend it on the luxuries they want, they go to their friends and family to pile on you for being financially abusive. No, you're being fiscally responsible, and they're being greedy and manipulative. Move solo and enjoy your new start. My sister Betsy, 45, asked me, 43 female, to be a bridesmaid for her wedding. I said yes, and I was happy to be asked, especially since I missed her first wedding because I was deployed. Her first wedding was in 2004. I was on my second tour and couldn't make it, even though I wanted to attend. I know about her first wedding because our youngest sister, 41, was a bridesmaid. She's a bridesmaid in this one and talks about the difference all the time. Recently, I told her that she was asking too much and getting too expensive. Example, the bridesmaid dress and shoes will cost me $500. Betsy's planning an international trip, Las Vegas, for her bachelorette party. So there's the flight, hotel, etc. They already had an engagement party. My sister's throwing a bridal shower on top of it. Plus, the cheapest option on their registry is $165. Now they decided to have a resort wedding in the Caribbean instead of getting married here. So that's another trip, flight, hotel. I'm hearing similar complaints from our fiance's wedding party members, especially because it's his second wedding too. So many families and friends are feeling put out and being asked to give 3 different gifts, and now having the wedding moved to another country. My sister never had any of this with her first wedding. The wedding was here, and so was the bachelorette party. Guests were only asked to give 1 gift, a wedding gift, and attend 1 party, the actual wedding. My sister paid for the bridesmaids' dresses too. When I agreed to be a bridesmaid, they were looking at venues here. There was no mention of a bachelorette party in Las Vegas or a wedding in another country. I also didn't think I would be asked to pay for my own bridesmaid dress and shoes to attend 2 parties with a gift before the actual wedding. I tried to tell Betsy this was getting too much for the bridesmaids and groomsmen, not to mention the guests even. She didn't take it well, and we've had a couple of big arguments. And I want to stand with her at her wedding, but it's getting out of control. She's normally not like this, but I feel like I'm talking to a wall with her. I'm just one of many to bring this up, too. She doesn't listen or doesn't care, and it's causing arguments. She thinks I don't get it because I've never been married. It's going off the rails. Not the idiot. This is absurd. And kudos to you for being willing to raise this with her, even if she's angry. As her sister, you might be better able to object to the escalating cost of this wedding, unlike others in the wedding party. It's beyond absurd. Just tell her that you're saving up for her third one. I wonder if she feels like she didn't get the wedding of her dreams. Plus, the first marriage ending has made her go overboard and veer into a bridezilla. OP should sit her down again and find out why she's having such an exorbitant second wedding, and remind her that people's funds are not unlimited, and if she wants people to be at this wedding, she has to make it so people can't afford to go. This is not a wedding. It's a shakedown of everyone they can get their money-grubbing claws on. Get as far away from this nonsense as possible. But don't sweat over it, OP. Water will find its own level. Your sister will soon see various guests opting out of the companion wedding events, such that maybe it's not even viable for her to book those venues. I, 30 female, have been divorced from my ex-husband, Vince, 27 male, for approximately 6 months. I've never had many friends as I was shy and socially awkward. Vince was my total opposite in many ways, and he fell out of love because I didn't have close friends. I did the same thing every day and was very dull. So I was hurt when he asked for a divorce, though it should have been expected, but I realized it was my fault. A few weeks ago, I fell asleep at home. Vince came by to pick up some of his stuff and found me unresponsive. After a visit to the emergency room, they found that my heartbeat would rapidly drop when I slept, which could eventually lead to sudden death. They're unsure of the cause, but I have to wear a heart monitor that tracks my heartbeat and calls the emergency line if it drops too low. Vince asked me to move in with me, as he said there was an issue with the apartment he was sharing with his best friend. I agreed. He also asked if he could do some things to reassure himself that he wouldn't find me unresponsive again. I agree, but it's gone too far. There was a malfunction with my original heart monitor, and now I wear two, one and a backup. He bought a Fitbit connected to his phone and asked me to wear it, as it would inform him of when my heartbeat dropped. Vince said it was necessary, since I didn't have anyone but him to ensure I was all right. I feel embarrassed because it's true. My life has not changed. It's still a quiet, dull life. The Fitbit was a painful reminder. I'm not used to wearing things on my wrist. I took it off at work, and Vince called me in a panic, asking why I took it off. I said it was unnecessary. He said that the heart monitors weren't enough, as I used phones, tablets, and microwaves. He said I didn't understand his feelings and worries, and if I wanted to fix this, I had to wear this Fitbit. He was sobbing on the phone, and I could hardly understand him. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Why do you want your ex-husband to live with you? Do you need help standing up for yourself in general? And blaming yourself for being dull when you're really just an introvert seems like you've internalized negative things you've heard about introverts. It's time to start working on standing up for yourself and building more self-confidence and self-love. Why do you want your ex-husband living with you? It's because she almost died, you idiot. Just because he asked for a divorce due to incompatibility doesn't mean he doesn't care deeply about whether OP lives or dies. Is he not allowed to do that anymore because of consequences? His moving back in seems to be more about his concern for OP's health than trying to get free rent. X is not just some jackass. He found OP half dead, and one monitor has already failed. Anyone would be concerned and overprotective. I think no idiots here. Yes, he found her unresponsive. I understand this. What is she supposed to do? Let him live with her forever? She's an adult. She can take care of herself. He's an idiot. It's her home. He divorced her because his friends didn't like her. He's absolutely 100% an idiot. It is time for him to move out of the house that she inherited and for her to find her life again as a single woman, a choice he made. Also, Fitbits don't record heart rate reliably, and he'd have to look at it 24/7 to see if it dropped. Looks like he wants to watch OP's every move.